We're going. We are going. Hello, 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 hello. And here I am stymied once again. Last time I was streaming, it didn't work out. Did not work out. We had so many dropped frames. Oh, every dropped frame possible was dropped with velocity. And that velocity was particularly uncomfortable. So, when my buddy gets back in June, not June, starts with a J, in January, we are going to reassemble my not quite Neolithic, but still well short of modern computer into something that can actually run while I stream. And then we will be going back to our regularly scheduled game playing. Also, I am modifying the stream a little bit. I'm just going to do Mondays and Wednesdays. Adding Sundays, adding a third day is a little much for now. In the future, maybe. But not right now. Yeah. I got a candy cane from work. Tastes like a candy cane. And what have we been doing all this time? We have one viewer. Hello, viewer. I hope you're doing well. I hope that your season has been greetingful. And, yeah. All I can offer is a little bit of comfort, but I have lots of that. Please indulge yourself. Now, what I would generally be doing now, I suppose, is writing a bit. I could do that. Or I can hop off that. And maybe I am my viewer. So that's tricky. But that's okay. Because I include myself in people. My season has been very greetingful. I made a friend earlier today at the gas station. She had just bright blue hair, and it was like, wow, she really did a great job on that. And so I had, you give people compliments when they do something that wows you. So I'm like, man, your hair is just fantastic. So I love the color. And she was like, oh, thank you. And then she said, wait, hold on. I saw you the other day walking by the Petco in this sweater. It is a very good sweater. And I wanted to say something, but, you can't really. I'm like, no, I get it. She says, but I really love your sweater. I'm like, oh, thank you. And then I told her, yeah, my partner, they got the first sweater, and it was one with bears on it. It is bears. Yeah, she got one with bears on it instead of reindeers. And she came home, and the first time we hugged, I was like, wow, that is a really soft, a really comfy sweater. And they're like, do you want one? I'm like, yes I do. So I have one. And it's great. Who else has a tricky time eating this last part? I'm sure that I cannot be the only one to be moderately flummoxed as far as do you try to keep it sharpened to a point like normal, or do you just pop the whole thing in your mouth and just crunch? Alternately, are there weird people? Well, I don't know. Weird is good, by the way. Weird is good. But are there weird people that eat the hook part first? Because I've never seen anyone do that. But I want there to be someone that does do that. Yeah, I cannot recall anyone visibly eating the hook first. But now it now the idea has me fascinated. Hmm. I suppose it mostly winds up going like that, where you just snap the hook off eventually. Oh, you just don't, yeah. Yep, just crunching down. Oh, but that sounds delightful over stream. Munch, 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 munch. Really grinching it up. Welcome to the stream, Chris. Now let's see what we can share today. What is on the menu? I really would like to play some games and just share the games, but it's not going to happen. And I'm full of regret. No, I'm about halfway full of regret, which is not full. Still more than I want. It's got to be something to keep us all entertained and create some content. Oh yeah, I see the bar, the little microphone bar just go every time I crunch on this thing. So I will not be crunching on it anymore. This is not a mukbang stream. And I'm pretty sure that would be a real weird mukbang. It's just nothing but... I wonder if you could do ASMR off of that. I wonder if anyone gets the good chills off of hearing crunch, 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 crunch. There's always someone, right? There's always someone who that just really does it for them. Hearing the nice, satisfying crickle of a candy cane shattering between teeth. Crunch, 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 crunch. Well, here, how about this? I have several games on my Steam account. Many are in favorites. I have 35 games in my favorites, and maybe... No, that's more than a dozen. Maybe 15 of them are actually installed. Why do I still have these? Let's talk about the old Steam games. In alphabetical order. That'll do great. Actually, let's do this. I want to remove that, remove my favorite. There we go. Okay. Let's go to capture Steam. See if that does anything for us. Is it invisible? Oh, it's quite invisible. Yeah, that shows nothing but black. Alright. I wonder why it does that. Well, we'll do that instead. So, maybe I can take a screenshot and do that. You know, let's try it. Because I don't really have to move anything around. We'll just do the first few. Control V. Yet done. Just had a mystery viewer, but they disappeared. This is all good. Yeah, let's do this. Change capture. Also, let's edit this. Bring this guy over here. I don't know what the benefits of showing off my 4 out of 42 unlocked achievements are, but I suppose you all deserve to know. I have not played a huge amount of Elden Ring, but it's been fun. And playing with the buds is playing with the buds. Ultra great swords forever. So yeah, first up is Battle Brothers. Oh, we have the chat also there. So let's do this as well. Let's boogie this boogie over here, where nothing is in particular. Perfect. Yeah, so Battle Brothers. Battle Brothers is you play as a mercenary captain. It is kind of team management, but also a hex-based strategy game. It is difficult. It is very easy to lose. Just unexpectedly, if you fight poorly or you find yourself in a bad spot and you don't run correctly. Basically, a lot of bad stuff can happen to you and it can bork your game pretty good. But when you do win, when you do get to a legendary company and you do hit one of the end game missions and surpass it, then it feels very satisfying. It's like, yeah, I'm powerful now. I can feel it. Battle Brothers, highly recommended. I have put many hours into that game. How many hours have I put into that game? Actually, that'll be a great litmus test for how much I like a game. Is just how much time I put into it. So let's go back and check. Battle Brothers. I have put 741.5 hours into Battle Brothers. It's a couple hours. BioShock is next. I don't have it installed. That's just there because my playthrough of BioShock rather enchanted me. It was maybe the first game of its type that I've played where the ambiance was anything could come find you, come swinging out of the walls, and all you have is whatever guns with whatever ammo you can get and your wrench. And I was really freaked out. Like, will I ever have enough money? Or will I ever have enough ammo for the stuff that's going to come at me? I will say that those worries got assuaged somewhat when I heard that there were wrench-only runs. I'm like, oh wait, that's possible? Like, people are able to do that? Okay, if they're able to do that, then the guns aren't necessary, but they make it easier. Probably by a lot in many cases. But it's not... You could beat the game with just your wrench. And your wrench doesn't run out of ammo. And your wrench does also not run out of skulls to crack either, so... That's that. I think... I played through the game. It doesn't have any playthrough information here. Maybe it does on the... Nope. When I played the game, it wasn't through Steam or something. Yeah, I played through the game once. It was good. Cosmeteer, Starship Architect and Commander. That one needs an update. I shall be updating it now. And we will see what that does to... Nope. Update was real quick. So I've played 4.4 hours of that. It's interesting. It's a little bit like Legos. Please excuse me. It's a little bit like Legos. Except that then you get to actually fight with your Lego ship. I still have not gotten the trick of how to make a good ship. My friends were playing that a bit, so I hopped on board and rallied with them for a little bit. It's going to stay in my favorites list because it's interesting, and I imagine that we'll cycle back around to it at some point to have that I don't see this being left alone. Yeah, it deserves a spot to be, right up near the top. Dark Souls 3. Not, I should take that off now because we have Elden Ring. In fact, I will. Uh, but Dark Souls 3, I put 77 hours into that. It was enough for a playthrough and then some. I never really got into the missiles or magic part of it. It was always just run up and swing a sword. The basic gameplay of run up, swing a sword, and then run away. That gameplay loop has always been the most familiar. And the bigger sword, the better. Yeah, Darkest Dungeon is next. Darkest Dungeon has gotten 315 hours from me. And each one of those hours is well deserved. Now there's a curious thing. The other game that I'm streaming, The Iron Oath, is sort of Darkest Dungeon and Battle Brothers meshed together. And it's still in early access, and they're still working on, and they're still doing their thing. So I'm gonna keep my playthrough going, but mostly I'm gonna wait to see how it turns up, because there's more things that they need to implement before it's finished and out the door for realsies. But the part that I see right now is pretty good. And Darkest Dungeon, for those who don't know, who may encounter this stream and decide that they are curious, you have come to reclaim your legacy as the master of an old estate. Your family member has bequeathed you the deed, and now it's your job to fight off the various evils that are coming at the hamlet that is connected to the estate, or that the estate is rather adjacent to. And it's very creepy, and expect to lose your heroes. They will die. That's part of the game. Forge onward. I guess I feel like games that punish you but let you know, well, they don't punish you to death every time that they punish you. Those are difficult games, but they're very fulfilling to conquer. That being said, I only have half the achievements unlocked in Darkest Dungeon. I could do better. Deep Rock Galactic. Now that has 101 hours, 102 hours. And that is pure dwarf space mining. And it's fantastic. That is a game that you play with your buds. And the dwarves have all sorts of things to say. There's a Christmas event right now. There is there's special events going on all the time. If you've got 2 or 3 friends that like dwarves and you want to shout rock and stone at each other a whole bunch, then 100% grab this one. It's fantastic. Divinity Original Sin 2. I have a dwarf crossbow woman. Her name is Brunhilde, which is close to our Roomba's name, which is Broomhilde. And she's sassy and I enjoy it. We have not played Divinity in quite some time. We have 68 hours, 68.3 hours. It's so close. But my best friend Joel had a kid. His name is Ollie, and I am his godfather, and it's great. Ollie's a great kid. But it was about that time when we stopped playing Divinity because we were playing with all 4 of the buds. And Joel just did not have the time to lend to a large game like Divinity on a consistent basis. So we've dropped it, and we'll probably pick it up in the future. Then we'll hit that magical 0.7 more hours of playtime. Don't Starve Together is still on here. I have 87. I have 88 hours in here, and it's still on my favorites list. Mostly because my little brother and I were playing it, and we still kind of want to play it, but it was boogering up as far as the connection goes too. I think it's a lot of fun still. I think that there's much more to learn. Now my friend group, which I will from here be referring to as the boys, they're kind of don't starved out, which is fine. Elden Ring. I have 23 hours in this, and I did finally beat the Golden Knight. Like, once I beat him, I was pretty satisfied. Because, you come out into the world, and the first big old enemy you see on the map is that Golden Knight, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna ruin his day. Check this out. And you rush up at him and you whips your ass. Oh, it's just a brutal beatdown. And then you get good, and eventually you come back and you return the favor. It took a lot to get the timing right, but I finally beat him. I got his halberd, and that's about the time where I set the game down for other stuff. But I got that much at least. I haven't done Market by myself. I've done it with friends. And I have seen very clearly how long he holds the pose. Okay, got it. I would be perplexed to fight him alone. I eventually will, though. Fabled Lands. I have 5 hours in that. Fabled Lands is like a choose-your-own-adventure. Kind of... But imagine if choose-your-own-adventure was open world. It's kind of like that. It's fun. It is very fun. The music's great. I like the music. This game is... It's a good game to just chill out with. Like, you're not going into it with any particular... How would you say that? If you're looking to be excited, then Fabled Lands is not the exciting game that you're looking for. But if you're looking to read a book, but have the book be interactive, that's basically what it is. It is an interactive book. I believe that it's based on a series of books that lends itself quite well to a game state such as Fabled Lands has got going. It's good. Thumbs up, I would recommend, regardless of having 5 hours into it. Fort Triumph. I also have 5 hours in this. It is turn-based strategy, and there are some very clever things about it that make me reminisce. More to the point, Heroes of Might and Magic 3 was the game that I grew up on. Like, that was my favorite game throughout my teen years. I was still playing it in my 20s. I'll still, open it up and play Horn of the Abyss, even now, which is an unofficial expansion for Heroes of Might and Magic 3. This game is a lot like that, but instead of armies, you're running around with individuals. Which isn't bad. It's different. It's not bad. This Fort Triumph doesn't capture my attention as much as I thought that it would. I'm gonna say it's a little bit cartoony. And maybe, let's see. Nah, all of these are real easy to. Well, since I can't get the stream to show my actual Steam page, the window, then I'm at a bit of a loss. But it's kind of cartoony. It's not it. I would put the age group at. I'll put the age group at teens. Like 13 and upward would have a very great time with this game. Next up, FTL, Faster Than Light. This is a puzzle game in a surprising vector. So basically with FTL you are in a little dinky spaceship, and you have to go through like 8 sectors to escape the encroaching rebels that are trying to capture you with all of your secret weaknesses of their boss ship, the capital ship. And you're trying to get to the loyalists, the guys that are on your side, to defend yourself against the rebels that are making a mess out of the galaxy. So you're busy escaping, you're running as fast as you can, but still trying to hit a lot of spots, as many spots as you can on the way there, to have random encounters and to fight your way through and gather up supplies to make your ship the good ship that can actually fight and defeat this rebels capital ship. It's pretty good, very high replayability. I have 115 hours in it, and it's really hard to play while high. You need to be thinking about it, and you can pause at any time. You can pause it and just slam spacebar, and everything will freeze while you decide your next move. But your guns are on a timer. They will shoot every X amount of seconds. And the enemy's guns and your shields are on a timer, and various things are happening. And if you lose track of the time, and you don't realize, hey, a missile is coming in, I'd better turn my ship invisible so that it cannot hit me through my shields, then that missile is going to hit you and damage you in the whatever it hits, which can compound. It can compound. Maybe not quickly, but a little inebriation and it becomes a little bit too quick for you to resurrect, and then your ship breaks apart and you're like, oh, I didn't realize I was only 10 health going into that fight. Yeah. The game Faster Than Light it's good. It deserves 100 plus hours. Golf with your friends, 16 hours. That's it's not a lot, but we play a specific way, me and the boys. And the way me and the boys play is you have 30 seconds to smash your ball into the hole as fast as you can. And after 30 seconds, if your ball isn't in the hole, you're getting 50 plus penalty strokes. So we will routinely end games with scores of like 160 to 310 to 508. And that's just us missing the goal, or getting slapped out, because golf needs to be a contact sport for it to be fun, is my opinion, and I share this opinion with the boys. But yeah, for a little interstice game where you're playing between the actual games that you play, so let's do a round or two of golf with friends. Having 16 hours in this is respectable. I played a fair bit. The Iron Oath, 14 hours in it so far. I won't say too much about that. I'm streaming it, or I will be streaming it when I can stream things. Killing Floor. There have been updates. They have kept on updating this game. Now Killing Floor 1 was pretty good. Killing Floor 2 is what I've got here. 95 hours in it. There's the Christmas update. There's a bunch of new weapons. And it's pretty gory and very active. And the metal tracks they'll get your blood pumping. Now what I like about this game, I'm not really into shooters. I don't shoot well. However, they have a melee class, the Berserker. That I do well. So I'll just run around hitting things with a shovel until it's time to get a big weapon. Then I'll hit things with a claymore. Or I will grab a shield and a baseball bat with circular saw blades in it. That counts as it makes a very fashionable modern mace. And I'll smack the specimens with that. And they're specimens. They're not zombies. They're not zombies. Zombies. Anyway, Killing Floor. Good times, noodle salad. We like to play it a lot. Kingdom 2 Crowns. I should probably take this. I put 51 hours into it. It has been fun. You don't do a whole lot yourself. You run around on your horse. You collect money from your workers and use that to buy more workers and expand your walls and build towers and build buildings for the dudes that you encounter on the islands that you visit. And every time you hop onto a new island, your ship crashes because there's no lighthouse there. You just smash your ship onto the island and everyone piles out and they have to go make camp and start your camp building anew. And you get new technology that you find on each consecutive island. And then if you can fight your way over to the lighthouse, then you can build it up a bit so you don't crash there. You can just visit the island anymore. So going back and getting the special technology pieces is totally a thing that happens. You are also expected to not win your very first playthrough. That's okay. Some of your work from the previous reign of your king stays over, gets held over for their successor to grab and help them have a leg up on their adventure through. So it's nice. I think we've basically played it all out, though. Yeah, we're kind of done with Kingdom 2 Crowns, so I'll remove that from favorites. The Last Spell. Now this is an interesting game. I've played 7.8 hours of it. Basically, the story is, in a nutshell, magic is rampant in the world. What this means is that all of the dead are coming back as horrible monstrosities. And they're wiping out life on the planet. And thank you, all of the mages who made this happen. All of the mages were lynched. Well, as many as they could find. Hey, there's my cat. Hi, Anze. So, no one's happy with the mages, but the mages who got away realized, okay, we fucked up. What do we do now? And they came up with the idea of casting the last spell. And the last spell will remove magic from the world entirely. That's all that's left for them to do, is cast the last spell. Hey you. Hey pretty cat. And then meanwhile, the zombies are swarming all of these settlements that are trying to cast the last spell, but you are the commander. And for some unknown reason that I have not uncovered yet, you are able to teleport from settlement to settlement as they attempt to cast the last spell and help guide them to victory. And by victory, I mean buy enough time for the mage to do his part to cast the last spell. And sometimes the mage, well, in the first couple of missions, the mage will be woefully underprepared or inadequate to the task, and everything will get overwhelmed. But you did your best, and you got some bonuses. You have some patrons, the good side patron and the dark side evil patron, the very mysterious, and they give you boons that persist through your various missions. You know, it's standard RPG growth, but the story is neat, and the artwork's all right. I'd say give it a shot. Mordhau. I got this when I was up in Alaska, and I just didn't have the connection needed to play it. I've lagged like half a second for every single action behind every single person. And Mordhau is like medieval, is like Mountain Blade is similar, but you're fighting in real time and you're doing differently aimed moves. You're aiming your weapon, and a half a second difference is enormous. And half a second is being generous to my computer. It was probably more like triple that. I was way behind, and there was no hitting anyone for me unless I got lucky. And being lucky does not present a great playthrough experience. So we've played half an hour of that, and we've set it aside, and I'm gonna try it again once all the computer upgrades come through. Mordheim, however, I have played 293 hours. If you've ever heard of Warhammer 40k is in the same vein. There is Warhammer Fantasy, which is same Warhammer situation with the Chaos Gods and whatnot, but it is in a fantasy setting rather than a space setting. Mordheim is, if you're fighting wars and pitched battles with your Warhammer Fantasy crew, then Mordheim is, you are a single war band and you have 10 or so dudes. And that's all you're responsible for. It's just two gangs fighting each other for money. Because the city of Mordheim, a comet crashed down, but the comet is made of weird stone. It destroyed the city, but people that venture into the city can find fragments of this comet, and these fragments can do all sorts of amazing things. So everybody wants a piece, and they're willing to pay top coin for it. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I have the 2 racial DLCs. There's the Inquisition DLC and the Vampire Kings or the Vampire Counts DLC. And there's some other DLC that give you individual units, but that's not worth it. There's a Wolf Priest, there's a Doom Weaver, there's a Poison Wind Globadier, there's a Smuggler. But $8 for one different unit when the other units are just fine is not worth it to me. When it was 10 to get a whole new faction. So yeah, a little suspect on the individual unit DLCs, but the game itself is one of my favorites. That is also turn-based. I could go deeper into it, but I would have to take some extra time to go deeper into it. So let's continue. Mountain Blade 2, Bannerlord. Now this has been popular, and I suspect will continue to remain popular. I have 36 hours in it. I've gotten familiar with it. You run around and... Oh You run around and do stuff is a pretty. That's most games, I think. That's many games at least. At least of the sort that I play. But you can make a living as a personal mercenary, but often you will find yourself growing an army underneath you and losing them and gaining more and training people and getting equipment, and it's good. The combat is easier than things like Mordhau or medieval, because basically you only have to block left, right, up, or down, and as long as you do that with your weapon or your shield, if you're carrying a shield, then as long as the shield's up, you just won't be hit. As long as you're actively blocking with it, it'll just always hit your shield. If you're not blocking the right direction, then it'll crack your shield a little bit more than it would otherwise. Because your shield will take a little bit of damage when it gets hit, and it'll take more damage if it gets hit if you're blocking to the left when the attack is coming from up. And axes make shorter work of shields, should you care to use those. There's a bunch of little things about it, but it's easier combat than the other active combat games. And you're not alone. You have your AI controlled bros with you, and try to keep as many of them alive as you can. Here's Nier Automata. I've played an hour of it. I've just barely gotten into it. It's on my favorites because I don't want to forget it. I know that it's good. I just haven't done it yet. And I feel like well, I'd like to. The music was enchanting. I have some of the music on my Spotify. I listen to it at work. It's a good time. I just need to have that time in the future. Yeah, I've played an hour of it. I will play more. Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous. This game should have always been a computer game rather than a module for tabletop. So they had another Pathfinder game, Pathfinder Kingmaker, and that was all right. I got into it a bunch and then lost interest in it. But Wrath of the Righteous it's meant to have a main character. Without spoilers for the tabletop variety of Wrath of the Righteous, for the module, it feels like the module is planning on your party having a paladin in it, and then the rest of the story is paladin and friends. When that's not the whole point, or that's exactly not the point of playing D&D or playing Pathfinder or playing these tabletop role-playing games. It's you're a team, or you're individuals working together as equals, not here's the most important guy and the rest of you guys just sort yourselves out somewhere, be useful. Well, that doesn't feel good. But here, Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, as a computer game, as a single-player computer game, perfect. This is what it should have been. And it's good. Now we get to Phasmophobia. I have 31 hours into it. I have not actually had this on my Steam nearly as long as I have had some of these other games. Gosh, when did I buy this? I don't know. But I've really been enjoying it. I've been watching streamers play it. Ensign, specifically. Watching Ensign play it. And he does all sorts of fun stuff with it. He's loud. He's very loud. He's very energetic. He is not like me. But it's still fun to watch him. Probably for that reason. but there's a lot to learn about the game, and it feels good to learn about the game. Because then you see something, you're like, oh, I recognize that. I know how that works. I know what's happening. And your fear turns into, not surprise. What am I thinking of? Not aggression. Boy, there's so many words in my head, right? And then you just can't pluck the right one out. Isn't that? It's rough. It's also a shared experience, so I know that you know what I'm talking about. But it turns into confidence. Because this game does a great job in actually creating fearful moments. The first time I cracked open Phasmophobia and tried to play it, even after watching streams and getting information and looking at the wiki and studying, I opened up on Amateur, the first newbie house in Tanglewood. I opened up the door and I had the flashlight and I was staring into the house, and I was just it was I could barely step inside. Eventually, what I summoned up the courage to do was place all of my equipment just inside the house where it would activate, and then stay inside the truck and maybe stand at the door and duck in for a couple of seconds if I needed to change something, and then hurry back out, because I knew that if I stayed there for more than 3 seconds, that ghost was going to find me and destroy me. And that is not actually the case. But I didn't know that. I was just feeling the fear. Alright, Rise to Ruins is next. How long have I played that? Ooh. Okay. This I have played for 388.8 hours. Out of that 388.8 hours, I've probably played for about 300 hours. And then the extra 88 are me just kind of leaving it open. Or doing something else while it cooks. The gameplay is you assign stuff to be built. It's like a housing project. You're assigning, okay, we have this many people coming in. 8 of you are going to be builders. 2 of you are going to be farmers. And then we'll wait for new people. And you set the builders to building your stuff, and some of them gather up the wood and the stone that you need, and then you build a lumber mill and a logging camp and a quarry, and then you take resources off the map in order to build more buildings with them. Meanwhile, the corruption that always starts on the opposite side of the map to you slowly creeps forward at you and sends monsters every night. So you have to have defenders to respond to those. It's fun. It is fun. It can feel like it takes a lot of time, and it does take a lot of time. You don't have to put a whole lot of concentration into it once you know what everything is doing. Yeah, I think that's the best way to say it. Once you know what everything is doing, then it's just kind of, you're doing the same thing, just in a new map. That's okay. There's a reason that I haven't beat it. And that's the reason, because every map is just second verse, same as the first. But it's fun to learn that kind of thing. And in between maps, and when you come out to the world map, then it'll give you a tally of all of the stuff that you did and how many god points you get and new bonuses that you get for all of your dudes from then on. They are permanent bonuses. Even if you reset the world, your bonuses will stay with you. So that's neat. If you super reset the world, then, well, you just super reset the world, but you did that very much on purpose, so no complaining. Risk of Rain. 114 hours in this one. This has things that... This is an action game. There's a lot of different classes to play and a lot of different things to unlock. It is 3D. Its predecessor, you'll see that this is Risk of Rain 2. So Risk of Rain 1 was 2D, a platformer, and pixel art. This is definitely not. This is an upgrade in every sense. My buddies and I were very excited to see it come out, and our hopes went fully gratified. The game is great. I won't spoil anything more than that. I might show some gameplay off later on. Honestly, streaming a little bit of all of the games on my favorites list is not a bad idea, I think. Like a little here's what this game is all about. Maybe you'll like it kind of thing. So we'll think about that in the future. Civilization 5. Sheesh. Civilization 5. That has 433 hours. It feels like more. Nothing needs to be said for Civilization games, I think. I think if you have a computer and you've played Civilization any, then you know exactly what the one more turn addiction is all about. I definitely like being the Indonesians the best. The Chris swordsmen are very fun to... You throw them into a battle somewhere, and you're like, alright, what do we get? I hope it's a good one. And then you get cursed, and you're like, ah! Then you sell that dude and build a new one with the iron that you just freed up. And you hope for better. You can waste a lot of time and a lot of efficiency on that. But once you get a super unit, you got a super unit. Spiritfarer. Been streaming that. It's lovely. Won't go into detail on that too much because the details are in the stream. Stardew Valley. 617 hours. Yeah. Yeah, it's good. It's really good. I intend to play it more. That's why it's still on there. Let's see. Oh, yeah. More time, yeah. More time. Thea 2, The Shattering. There was Thea, The Awakening. I don't know exactly how much of that was intended as a play on words. The Awakening. But I choose to pronounce it Thea. And it's turn-based. It's kind of a base builder. And the combat is a card game. There's a lot going on with Thea. And it takes a lot of getting used to. But it's very articulated. And I enjoy it immensely. I have 223 hours into it. And you get to unlock various bonus starter dealies. Ooh, hey, how about this? I notice that there is just no music, and I would like to have some music. Let's do this. Badoop. Badoop. Curious about that. Of course, the instant I show up on YouTube, it's like, oh, let's look at that, and that. How's this? We'll turn this down a little bit. That should be okay. Yeah, some more YouTube lo-fi. All right, back to what we were doing. Thea 2. Good game. Long-winded. There is a right way to play it and a wrong way to play it. So you gotta learn that. Not everyone's favorites. Or not everyone's cup of tea, but it's been good to me. And I'm getting the slightly accusatory eyes from Anze here. Maybe she's just really comfy. You. Ultimate Chicken Horse is... We've done 19 hours of that. I like it a little bit more than my friends do. My friends are better at it than I am. They're about chicken horsed out. I'm not. I could do some more of it, but I like the ridiculous every so often. Vagante. Vagante is a game that we have played quite a lot of. 121 hours for a roguelike. It is a platformer, and it is difficult. There are strategies that make it easier, but you kind of have to figure out those strategies with your flesh. There is a wiki. I'm not sure how up to date it is anymore. Yeah, the last update / patch notes was in September 20th of 2021. So they're not working on the game anymore. So what you see is what you get at this point. But it's good. We have put it away, but if you haven't played it, I recommend it. Especially if you have multiple people. And then I also have Wallpaper Engine. You know, it's nice. It's nice to be able to dink around with your wallpapers. Should you choose to. There is Warhammer Vermintide that you do not see underneath Vagante and Wallpaper Engine. Warhammer Vermintide 2. This is another run and gun kind of game, but it's mostly slashy. So I like the slash and hack 'em ups more than like the run and gun. This game delivers. The enemies are satisfying to kill. They will stab you if you're dumb. But it's not so unforgiving that you have to play one single way in order to win. Just if you find your favorite character and you find your favorite kind of subclass of that character, there are five characters. Each one of them has like 4 different classes that they can be, including the DLC. I think each character gets a DLC character type, in addition to their base 3. But there's a lot of ways to play the game. A lot of ways to play the game may be a misnomer. There should be a fun way for most people to play the game. Of that I am confident. If you like smacking rats in the face with a sword or a spear or an arrow, that's less of a smack and more of a shunk. Well, if you like killing rats and chaos dudes, it's a good try. It's a good game to try. And finally, maybe the biggest disappointment on my favorites list, Tale of Immortal. It's a Chinese game. It was amazing at first. Yeah, I have 99 hours in it. It was great. I like light novels. I like wuxia novels. I like the fantasy of starting at the bottom, but enough gumption and smarts and lucky turn of events, and you get to see what it was on the bottom, and then you get to see what it's like on the top, and there's always room to grow. And I've always enjoyed that. Like, the vindication of you tried really hard, and it took a little bit of luck and a lot of skill, but you were diligent and you got there. I like that kind of game. I like that kind of story. And this kind of game, this game specifically, was delivering that story. And I thought it was great. I thought it was crucially fantastic. And then they started doing boogity shit with the management of the game and the policy that side of the game. And just there's a lot to unpack about why this is not a good game anymore. But okay, maybe it's getting better. Because the recent reviews and all reviews are mixed at the moment. It used to be positive. I think it might have been overwhelmingly positive at this point on Steam. And then it was overwhelmingly negative from there because of all the bullshit that they were pulling. But now it's mixed, which leads me to believe that it might be improving. We'll find out, though. I think it'd be fun if it turned into a good game again. But I'm not gonna hold my breath. That's a lie. I'm gonna hold my breath a little bit. Not enough for my face to turn purple. But I hope that they get their shit in order. Anyway, that is my library of favorites that I have. I also have a subsection of Let These Not Be Lost, where they're not my favorites, but I want them available for me to snag if I want to snag them. Like I have Age of Empires 2, which one of my buddies still likes to play. Disgaea 5, I have Doom on there, can probably take Grim Dawn off there, I don't think we're going to play that anymore. Kingdom Come Deliverance, Last Evil, which is a game that I will not be playing on stream. No Man's Sky is on there, because that turned okay. Another game that I will not be playing on stream, Total War Warhammer. I think I have Total War 3 in Game Pass on the Xbox console companion, or the Xbox app on my computer. So I can probably toss that off. This doesn't need to be anymore. And I play that sometimes with one of the boys and another set of friends. They play that. The Vagrant was a nice little platformer. A little bit fan servicey, but nice. The Witcher 3, Wolfenstein 2, and XCOM 2. Those are all on the Let These Not Be Lost. And then everything else is just in the uncategorized. Could be anything. Could be everything. As a matter of fact, it's everything that isn't on the previous two lists. Who could see? Yeah, I think as well, I'm going to, while I'm waiting on my computer to be a computer anymore, I'm going to keep my streams a bit more abridged. So I'm thinking just like an hour on Monday and Wednesday, unless I get real caught up in writing or whatever. And then you can hang out with me while I do that. But today is not such a day. I have shared my favorites with you. And if you have favorites, then feel free to add those to let me know about them, because I want to give them a look too. Just to see what other people like. I want to see what you like. Because why wouldn't I? See what? I wish there were a way though to sort games by how many hours you have. Because I noticed I have 100.1 hours in XCOM. I kind of want to know what games I have 100 or more hours in. None of these. None of these. Grim Dawn. I thought we took you off. Age of Empires I have 113 hours in. Well, I'll look at that sometime else. But for now, I think I'm going to sign off from the stream. Keep it nice, an hour and 5 minutes or so. And if you have watched this, I'm glad that you could join in, and I'm glad to share what I have with you. I hope that you will take a little bit of this with you, and that you'll be well. See you later.